This session is focused on calculation of COP attainment. So Patnaik sir has already shared many insights related to these COs and POs, I'm sure, with that. So in this session, particular session, so I will be introducing assessment tools, then some attainment calculation examples. Then there will be one exercise on attainment calculation that we'll be doing in the after lunch session. So in the first session, before lunch session, so my main agenda is to introduce you to attainment calculations. So when we talk of attainment calculations, so first thing is that we need to assess the COs, and then from the assessment tools we get the data, and those data values are used for the calculation of COP attainment. So there are generally these two questions: what are various assessment tools which are used to measure COP attainment? Then how we use these tools for measuring the CO attainment. So I will be answering these two questions in these slides, upcoming slides. And I request the participants to be interactive. So because we are going to solve one exercise based on these slides. So wherever you have any doubt, so you can unmute yourself and you can ask the question, because I am not able to see the chat right now. So kindly you unmute yourself for asking any query. So when we talk of COP attainment, then first is assessment tools. So we are having two kinds of assessment tools. So one category is called as the direct assessment methods or direct assessment tools, and then second is indirect assessment methods. So in direct assessment methods, we use those tools which are used to capture students' actual performance, which demonstrates that specific learning has occurred. So basically, these help to provide key insights and provide strong evidence of the assessment which we are doing. So that's why they are considered as that these are reliable tools, and we say that these provide reliable results. And commonly used methods or commonly used tools under direct assessment category includes written exams like university exams or course embedded tests or internal tests, periodic tests, which we say, assignments, project, thesis, and then we use some kind of rubrics for grading of various kinds of activities. Then there can be a direct supervision or direct evaluation of students' performance by the teacher or the supervisor. So all these kinds of tools which we commonly used for even our day-to-day teaching learning activities. So these are the same tools, but these tools are further now aligned with the COs and for the calculation of CO attainments. In the indirect assessment methods, we have mainly surveys or other kinds of activities like curricular activities, co-curricular, extracurricular activities. So these are indirect assessment tools are those kinds of tools which capture students' attitude, perception, or feeling about their learning. So they are not providing that concrete evidence as is provided by the direct assessment tools, because these are kinds of surveys where students are given the chance to answer the survey questions depending upon their perception or feelings about those particular questions or those particular points which we ask in the surveys. But these are used in conjunction with the direct assessment tools, and these are also very useful for program improvement, because that information which we get from these assessment tools, that type of information is not possible to be collected from the direct assessment tools. So both tools, direct as well as indirect, have their own advantages when we are using these tools for the assessments. So I will be showing examples of using both kinds of tools for the COP attainment. So this is one general, we can say, the suggestion in the AICT examination reforms document. So I have copied this from this AICT examination reforms document, where the various assessment tools are also aligned with the learning level, Bloom's taxonomy levels. So based on the whether we are using the particular tool, whether that tool is aligned with a particular kind of learning level. So this alignment is there, and we can see here that fixed hour exams like internal exams, university exams. So these are suggested as more useful for the lower order thinking skills, LOTS, which we say as L1, L2, L3. So these three levels are called as LOTS, learning lower order thinking skills. And to some extent, we can also assess up to analyzing L4. But this is a suggested level of using these fixed hour examinations. And for the upper levels, higher thinking skills, HOTS, we can see here that it is suggested that we should use other kinds of assessments, tools like various kinds of projects or other such activities. So this is a general mapping of various tools with various POs. Like if we want to assess, say, PO1, so then you can see that it is mainly suggested from three kinds of tools: written examinations, laboratory sessions, as well as projects. Similarly, you can see this is a general mapping which we can use for various kinds of POs for the PO attainment calculations. So now let's directly move to the attainment calculations with this brief introduction of the assessment tools, because these are the tools which we are using every day for awarding marks, awarding grades to the students. So now I will be showing that how those scores which we give to the students during the various kinds of these assessments, how we can use those scores for calculating CO attainment as well as PO attainment. So POs, as you might have gone through this concept of POs. So POs express what our learners will be equipped for when they successfully complete and fulfill the requirements of the program. So basically, when the degree is awarded, a particular completion certificate is awarded. So at that time, so what are the various we can say the outcomes, so which are desired, so those are called program outcomes. So we call those in short as POs. So in OBE, so all these outcomes should be measurable. So we need to measure those outcomes, we need to calculate the values so that we can understand that how well the program is serving our students, also to identify improvements to act upon. So if after measuring we found that certain outcomes are not achieved, then how to improve our various kinds of teaching learning activities, how to improve the program as a whole so that we can achieve the desired outcomes. So there can be changes to courses, or there can be curriculum revision, teaching learning modification. So different activities we can focus upon based upon our measurements and analysis of those measurements. And POs are realized by curriculum, teaching learning, and assessment. So these are three important parameters of our any program. So what is the curriculum, how that curriculum is basically implemented using teaching learning processes, and how the assessment is done. So these three are major our parts of this OBE framework. And in this also includes co-curricular and as well as extracurricular components. So we need to include in various other teaching learning activities and as well as curriculum activities. So all POs are realized through curriculum implementation. So we need to first look at the courses of the curriculum and then outcomes of each course. So first we'll be talking of the attainment of the courses, that means CO attainments. And once we have the COs, attainment of COs, then we go for the attainment of POs. So this is a bottom-up approach. First COs, and then from COs we go towards the POs. So let's see COs first. So whenever we talk of CO attainment, so it's a common practice that we talk of three levels of attainment: level 1, level 2, and level 3. So we can see here that we need to define these three attainment levels. So what we mean by level 3 for our program. So for example, there is one definition of this level 3 that will be saying that our CO attainment is level 3 if 70% of students are scoring more than the set target marks. So there will be a set target mark. So if the 70% of students are scoring say more than this, so then we can consider it as level 3. So this is one definition. Again, this is not a we can say the universal definition. So it's as per our program. So we need to define such levels based on various factors. Like target can be our average of passing marks of the students, or it can be simply a pass level. Like in many universities, colleges, we see that 40% is pass level. We can, but generally it is not suggested that pass level should be the target mark. So it should be more than that. But to start with, we can have that pass level as the target marks, or median marks can be set as the target marks, or from the previous year results we can set the target marks, that how many students are scoring more than say a particular threshold. So then accordingly we can set the target. Similarly, this 70%, 60%, 50% which are written, these values which are written in these level descriptions, so these are also variables. So we can change these values also, 50, 60, 70. But to attain for this attainment calculation, so I will be using these definitions of various levels. That it will be called as level 3 if the 70% of students are scoring more than set target marks. Similarly, it will be level 2 if we are saying 60% of the students are scoring more than set target marks, and 50% of students are scoring more than set target marks, then it will be level 1. So if it is below 50%, then we'll say that there is no attainment, that is attainment is 0, level 0. So I think this is clear to all the participants, or any query related to these level settings, because this is the first point which we need to be very clear for doing these CO attainment calculations. Any query about this slide?
Sir, this target, can we have separate targets for analytical subjects and theoretical subjects? But the cut-off percentage is more different.
Sir, your audio is not clear. So what I am getting is that you want to ask that can we set different targets for different subjects?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir. That is suggested. We can set different targets for different subjects depending upon the level of the subject, depending upon the difficulty of the subject, and even depending upon whether we are teaching to first year, second year, third year, depending upon that. So we can set different targets. So there is no hard and fast rule that we need to set the common target for all subjects. So it is okay if we set different targets. But there should be proper justification whether we are setting the same targets, whether we are setting the different targets. So why you are setting a particular threshold or a target marks, why you are setting this 70%, 60%, why not 75%, right? So there should be proper brainstorming by the various stakeholders of the program, and depending upon our local scenarios, local conditions, so we need to set these target marks, right?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, any other query related to this? Okay, so if there is no query, so let's move further. So I will be showing this CO attainment calculation using these three tools: internal test 1, internal test 2, model or assignment, then semester end examination. So these are the very basic tools which I think in all colleges we take periodic tests. So we can write this as periodic test 1, periodic test 2, or we can write this as sessional test, internal test, whatever name we use in our scenarios. So I'm using the marks obtained by students in these two periodic tests, as well as in almost every institute. In addition to the test, we also give some kind of assignment to the students. So it may be a model making assignment or some other kind of assignments. Like sometimes we give say written assignment, or sometimes we give a kind of assignment to give the presentation. So every other tool which we can use, so that can be considered for the CO attainment calculation. So I am naming those other tools as model or assignment, right? So and then there are always end semester examinations in all institutions. So I am using these three tools for the CO attainment calculations, right? You can use more tools also if you are using those kinds of tools for the assessment of students. So now we need to understand this table for the CO attainment calculation. So here you can see this table is having various headings as well as various column headings as well as row headings. So first, let's try to understand the column headings. So you can see it is written as T1. So T1 in these two columns. So these two columns corresponds to this internal test 1. So internal test 1 has been denoted by T1. Internal test 2 has been denoted by T2. Model assignment has been denoted by their MA. So here you can see T1, T1 test 1, T2, T2, T2 test 2 in 3 columns. MA is model assignment. SEE is this semester and examination, right? So these are the various tools. So now you can see that for internal test 1 there are 2 columns. So one column is representing CO1, second is representing CO2. So we are considering that this particular subject, which is considered here, that the subject has 5 COs, right? So and you can see that all these 5 COs have been assessed through 3 different kinds of tools. So CO1 and CO2 has been assessed through this test 1, as well as CO1, CO2 you can see has been assessed through this model assignment, and then again each CO is assessed through this semester and examination. So these tests are basically test 1 is devoted to CO1, CO2, test 2 is devoted to CO3, 4, 5. But these model assignments and as well as end semester examinations, so these are covering all the COs, right? And then this S1, S2, S3, S4, these are basically notations to show the students. So first student S1, second student S2, S3, S4. So if there are say 10 students, then we'll go up to S10. If there are 50 students, we'll go to S50. Actually, we write the roll numbers. So we can write the roll numbers of names of the students here, right? Then maximum is the maximum marks in possible for that particular column. So in T1, so there will be some questions related to CO1, then there will be some questions related to CO2. So how many marks are awarded to CO1 questions? So how much maximum marks awarded to CO1 will be written here as under this maximum table. So if we add these two, the maximum marks, so if we can see that test 1 is of 100 marks. Out of 100 marks, CO1 has been allotted as 50 marks, CO2 has been allotted as again 50 marks, right? So maximum marks allotted to CO1 is 50, CO2 is again 50, right? And then cutoff marks, you can see here 50% has been taken as the cutoff. So 25 marks have been considered as the cutoff. So this cutoff is basically this particular target marks, right? So when we have to calculate these levels, so we need to set this target mark. So in that particular calculation, so those target marks have been set as 50. So there should be proper justification for using a particular value. So whether we are using previous year results for setting these target marks, or we are using say pass levels, median, or any other method which we are using. So we need to fix a particular cutoff marks. So here 50% has been taken as cutoff. And here these values. So S1 you can see in first column, this 30 is written. So this 30 is the score of student 1 out of 50 in test 1 for CO1, right? So in test 1 for CO1, maximum marks are 50. S1 has scored say 30, S2 has scored 25, S3 has scored 10, S4 14. So S1, S2, S3, S4 means 4 students, right? So we can replace these by names or roll numbers. So student 1 has scored 30. Students second has scored 25. So these are we can say some assumed values. In actual, you can put your own values, right? So S3 is the third student. He scored say 30. Student 4 scored 14. So now cutoff is 25. So here in this column, we have to write number of students above cutoff. So if we see cutoff is 25, how many students are above cutoff? So you can see these two students. So 25 is cut off, so we can consider it equal to or above cut off. So 25 can be considered as above cut off, right? Because it has met the cut off. So 25 and 30, these two values are above cut off. So we'll write here as 2, right? So now what is the total number of students? So total number of students is 4. Out of 4 students, 2 students are above cutoff. So what is the percentage of students above cutoff? So this will be 2 divided by this 4, right? So 2 divided by 4 is 50%, right? So now if we see this, our 50% of students are scoring more than set target marks. So that means our attainment of the CO is level 1, right? So we are writing CO attainment here as level 1. Okay. So this is how we are writing this CO attainment value for first column. So any question related to this CO attainment value? So I'm explaining again for this second column. So second column is for CO2 and CO marks obtained by the students in test 1, and we are separating those marks as per the COs. So we are considering that test 1 is there for CO1 and CO2, right? There are certain questions which will be related to CO1, then there will be some questions related to CO2. And we are considering that weightage is equal 50-50 and 25 is the cutoff, 50% is the cutoff. Now we are writing the scores of the students. When we mark the test, so we'll award the marks to the students. So we are writing those marks here. And we are writing these marks CO wise. So if we see this second column, so you can see student 1 has got 40 marks for this CO2 questions from test 1. Out of 50, he has got, student 1 has got 40, right? Similarly, student 2, we are considering, we can see here that that student 2 has got 37 marks. Student 3 has got 30 marks. Student 4 has got 20 marks, right? So now, 25 is cut off. So now we have to calculate number of students above cutoff. So how many number of students are above cutoff? So 25 is cutoff. So in this particular column, we can see S1, S2, S3. These 3 students are above cutoff. So number of students above cutoff are 3. Now we have to calculate percentage of the students above cutoff. So what is the total number of students considered here? 4, right? So there are 4 students and 3 are above cutoff. So if we calculate percentage of students above cutoff, it will be 3 by 4 into 100. So if we calculate that 3 by 4 into 100, it will be 75%. Now if again, then we need to go to this particular definition of levels. So now our 75% of students are scoring more than set target marks. So if we have to match that 75% value, that means it is here we can see level 3 is up to 70% and above. So if minimum 70% are scoring more than target marks, then it will be level 3. Now in our case, it is 75% of students are scoring more than set target marks, so our attainment will be level 3. So you can see here that it is written as level 3. Yeah, so basically we calculate CO attainment in 3 levels, up to 3 levels, right? Our maximum attainment is 3. So we have to calculate that out of 3, what is our attainment of CO, right? So here in this first step, we are writing that for the first column, CO attainment value is 1. For the second column, CO attainment value is 3. So this is CO attainment value for this particular column, we can see.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, these values are numerical values. So maximum attainment is possible is 3. So we are classifying here in this first stage, we are classifying our CO attainments into those three levels, 1, 2, 3, depending on these definitions of levels. Right? Okay, any query related to this table? Any other query? Similarly, you can see these calculations are there for all these different columns. So in this T2 CO3, now maximum marks are 30. So you can see that it is not there that we have to always keep the maximum marks same. So in test 2, we can see that there are 3 COs which are measured or which are assessed through this test 2. So this is we can see different weightages of this test for different COs. So 30 marks are awarded to CO2, again 30 marks for CO4 and 40 marks for CO5. So this purely depends on how we are setting the question paper for the test. So these values are just indicative. So these values will be replaced by the actual maximum values as per your particular local scenario. So 50% is the cutoff. So for the 30 cutoff will be 15. For the 40 cutoff will be 20. And these are the marks obtained by these 4 students in the test 2. And these marks are, you can see, are written as CO-wise. So here in this T2 CO3 column, so number of students above cutoff is, again we can see cutoff is 15 and number of students above cutoff is 3.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I was describing this COPO, this CO attainment table. Basically, for the again recalling of what I tried to explain. So let me explain again. So first thing is that we are considering these definitions of levels. So here in this definition, you can see that there is a particular target marks we need to set. So those target marks are set as 50% in these calculations which I am showing. Then this 50% of the students are considered as level 1. 60% of students scoring more than target marks are considered as level 2. Similarly, 70% of the students, if they are scoring more than set target marks, it is attainment is considered as level 3. So now using these 3 level definitions, so and these tools, so I am explaining this table. Here in this table, so this T1 stands for test 1, T2 stands for test 2, this MA stands for model assignment or any other activity which we are considering for assessment, and SEE is semester and examination. S1, S2, S3, S4, these are 4 students, and these entries shows basically marks obtained by a particular student in that particular assessment tool. Like if we see this 25, so this 25 is basically marks of student 1 in test 2 for CO5. And for CO5, we can see that here there are maximum 40 marks which can be obtained by the students. Out of 40, student has obtained 25. So similarly, these are scores of the students. And cutoff marks are considered as 50% of the maximum marks. So that's why here it is written as 20 because maximum marks are 40. Here it is written as 15 because maximum marks are 30. So that way you can see 20, 10 like that. And here this stands for number of students above cutoff. So in every column you can see cutoff is given and then we can count the number of students above that cutoff. Like in this particular column, so cutoff is 15. So number of students above cutoff are 4. So that's why it is written as 4. So now we need to calculate the percentage of students. This 4 we need to convert in the percentage of students. So percentage.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, is cutoff you said 25 out of maximum 50, then 25 out of 50, 50. So
Yeah.
then can we set it as per our requirement?
Yes,
The teacher.
Yes, this need to be set as per your requirement or your basically program scenarios.
Okay.
So yeah, so even this can be different for different subjects, but whatever value you are setting, so you need to have justification why you are using that cutoff, whether you are using 50%, 60% as cutoff, why you are using that value.
Okay. Means
So there are
if a subject is more on a difficult side, then I can set that to a 50% cutoff. If it is a little bit easier compared to the other subject, then can I set it to, say, for example, out of 50, I can set it to 35 or something like this. Can I do
no,
that?
actually, it should not be less than the passing marks. First thing is that. So if your 40% is a passing mark, it should not be less than that 40%,
No,
right?
no. Out of 50, 35 means 70 out of 100.
70 out of 100. If subject is easy, you can set 75. Basically, it should be based on some historical data. Like here you can see, I have shown here that it can be set on the basis of average. Like you can consider average marks obtained by the previous two batches. So that can be set as the target. Right?
Okay.
Or it can be even say some median marks. Say you are evaluating students, you can calculate the median. What is the median of that particular set of scores? So you can use that as the target marks. Right. So there should be some basically historical data or some kind of justification. So it should not just on the basis of like you're saying that the subject is difficult, but how this subject has been basically attempted by the previous student. So that can be your base. So we need some base. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So I think these calculations are clear. So how this CO value is coming 1, 2, 3 or 1, 3 in this particular. So after calculating the number of students above cutoff, so we need to calculate the percentage of students. So total number of students is 4. So 4 is here this number. So 4 divided by 4 into 100, it will become 100%. So if 100% students are scoring above cutoff, so that means attainment will be level 3. So if 70% or more students are scoring more than set target marks, then it will be level 3, right? So from this, so it will be CO attainment value will be level 3. So now you can see for all these columns. So first we calculate the number of students above cutoff, then we calculate the percentage of, from this number of students, we calculate the percentage of students above cutoff. And from that percentage, we use those definitions of level values and we write the CO attainment value. Like for example, this for this column, so number of students of cutoff is 2. So total number of students are 4 for all columns. So this 2 divided by 4 will be 2 divided by 4 into 100. So it will come out as 50%. So now it is 50% of the students are above cutoff. So again, we'll refer to this slide. So 50% of students are scoring more than target marks or above cutoff. So that means attainment is level 1. So that's why we have written as level 1. Okay. So any question up to this point, because these values I will be using in the next slide.
Hello. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible. Yes, please.
Sir, can you please guide me regarding if you are introducing the new courses? So how to set this cutoff level?
You can consider like the median or the average marks of the class. So you can take the test, then you can calculate the average marks obtained by the students, right? In same batch, right?
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah, so that can be one base. And then you can set target sum, but maybe higher or equal to average, or depending upon other factors. So you can decide the target. So that can be one value, right?
Okay, sir. Okay.
So you can refer to say maybe similar subjects maybe taught to your students, which is similar to that difficulty level, same, or we can say have similar kind of topics, right?
Okay.
Or you can refer to some say other good institution that which is comparable to you, so that how their students are behaving. So means you can consider multiple factors, but you need to justify that why you are considering a particular factor. That can be.
Okay, sir.
So one question from my side, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, do we need to have only these many levels only? That is level 0, 1, 2, 3. Can we have one more level that is above 70%?
Yes, I will be coming to that also. So we can have generally it is 3 or 5 level thing. So if you want to have more basically developed system, mature system, then you can go to level 5. So I will be showing one slide later to that also.
Okay, thank you.
But presently in NBA, SAR, even SAR, and even so presently the adopted norm is up to level 3. So 3 level attainments are shown. Okay, any question, other question related to this particular table, particular slide? So I suppose, assume that all the participants are able to understand that how this last row is written, because this last row will be now used for the next upcoming calculations, right? So here you can see that CO1 has been assessed using 3 different tools, T1, MA, as well as SEE, right? So every CO has been assessed through 3 different assessment tools. So we are having CO1 attainment 1 from test 1, CO attainment 3 from this model assignment, and CO1 attainment as 1 from this end semester examination. So we are having 3 different kinds of CO1 attainments, and for that case, so for all COs, we are having 3 different kinds of attainments from 3 different assessment tools. So now we need to combine these 3 different attainments into a single consolidated attainment. So here is this table for doing that. So here you can see on this side, so this table is showing 5 COs, which we are trying to calculate, attainment calculation. And on the top, you can see that these first assessment tools, test 1, test 2, model assignment, and final end semesters examination, right? And here you can see CO1 we have calculated from test 1, model assignment, as well as final. And in test 1, what was the attainment? In test 1, CO1 attainment was 1. And then CO1 attainment was 3 in this model assignment, and its attainment was 1 from this final, means semester end examination. So CO1 attainment is 1, then 3 and 1, right? So those values are written in this table. So test 1 is 1, test 2 is not aligned with CO1, so that's why it is written as dash, model assignment 3, and final is 1. So we need to basically write those CO attainment level calculations which we have done in previous table in this table, right? So now overall CO1 attainment will be weighted average of these values. So here you can see that these tools we can see here 10%, 10%, 30%, 50%. So these values are written. So these values are showing the weightage of that particular assessment tool in the final calculation. So how much weightage is given to test 1 in the final, so that will be written under that. So here you can see test 1 weightage is given as 10%, test 2 weightage is given as again 10%, model assignment weightage is given as 30%, and semester and examination weightage is 50%. So this weightage is again variable, so you can change this weightage as per your requirements, as per your local conditions, right? So generally in tier 1 settings where we have the access to the end semester examination marks, so we can give more weightage to the end semester examination. If we are in a tier 2 institution where we are not having details of marks, CO-wise marks awarded to students in the final examination, then we can give less weightage to the this final examination. We can give more weightage to the internal tests or the those assessment tools for which we can calculate CO-wise attainment marks, right? So now after copying this CO attainment values from previous table into this table, so now let's see this calculation. So this weighted average is calculated by multiplying this CO attainment value with corresponding weightage. So 1 into 10% will become 0.1, right? So it is this 0.1 is 1 into 10%. Then this 3 into 30% will become 0.9, right? So that's why it is 0.9. And 1 into 50% will become 0.5, right? So 1 into 10.1, 3 into 30.9, 1 into 50%, 0.5. So that's why 0.1 plus 0.9 plus 0.5. Now divided by 0.9. So to take this weighted average, so we'll divide by the maximum value which can be there for this particular, you can see CO. So CO1 is mapped to test 1. It is not mapped to test 2. So it's mapped to model assignment as well as final. So it is mapped to 10% of their test 1, 30% here, 50% here. So this 50 plus 30 plus 10 will become 90%. So 90% means 0.9. So that's why we are dividing this by 0.9, right? So here you can see the division is by 0.9. Why this 0.9? Test 1 is 10% for CO1. Model assignment is 30%. This final is 50%. So total weightage of these assessment tools for CO1 is 90%. That's why we are dividing it by 0.9, right? So this 0.1 plus 0.9 plus 0.5 will become 1.5 divided by 0.9. It now the CO attainment, consolidated CO attainment for this subject will be 1.67, right? Any question in this calculation? Any query related to this calculation, please? Okay, similarly for CO2, you can see this 3, 1 and 3 is written. So how this 3 is written? So this is from this table. CO2 is from test 1, it is 3. CO2 from model assignment is 1. CO2 from SE is 3. So its CO2 attainment is 3 from this place, 1 from this place and 3 from this place. So this 3, 1, 3. This 3, 1, 3 is written here. Test 2 was not aligned with CO2, so that's why we are adding the dash. So 3 into 10%, it becomes 0.3. 1 into 30%, it becomes 30%. 0.3 again, 3 into 50, it becomes 150%. That means 1.5, right? So then total of these three values divided by 0.9, again by 0.9, because this 10% is not attached to CO2. So total weightage to CO2 is 10%, this 10% plus 30% plus 50% is 0.9, right? So 2.1 divided by 0.9 will become 2.33. Similarly for CO3, we can see CO3 in this table, we can see CO3 is not mapped with T1. CO3 is calculated from T2, then model assignment and then SE. CO3 from T2 is 3. CO3 from model assignment is again 3. And from this SE, it is again 3. So all the three tools are giving CO attainment value as 3. So that's why we are written 3, 3, 3 here. Now if we take the weighted average, so 3 into 10%, 0.3, 3 into 30%, 0.9, 3 into 50%, 1.5, divided by again 0.9, because again for CO3, this 10% is not contributing. So only contribution is by this 50% and this 30% and 10%. Total of these three tools is 90%. So we are dividing it by 0.9, right? So 2.7 divided by 0.9, it will become 3. Similarly, you can try these calculations for CO4 and CO5. And you can ask if there is any doubt. Okay, any doubt here? Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so
Sir, one doubt.
Yes, please.
CO1, the top row.
Yes,
Model assignment 30% is the requirement, right? And
no, it is the weightage which we are assigning to this particular assessment tool.
Okay, 30%.
Not,
yes.
Not it is not the passing marks. So it is the, because we are having multiple tools. So we'll assign different weightages. We can assign different weightages to different tools, right? So here it is considered as 30% weightage to this model assignment assessment tools. Right?
Okay, and for CO1, for that model assignment, student has achieved, or that CO1 has achieved level 3.
Yes, level 3. Yes.
Okay, so level 3. So 30% is weightage. Okay. So
3 into 30.
That is 0.9. Okay.
Yes. So this 3 is coming from this previous table. This for CO1 model assignment, we have seen that it was 3. CO value was 3. So this 3 is going into this particular cell for CO1. Yeah. So all these values are coming from the previous table. All these values which I have written.
Thank
Yeah. Yes, please. Any other query? Okay, so if there is no query, let me move further. So here, once we have calculated these CO attainments, 1.67, 2.33, for every subject, we'll have some targets of CO attainments. We'll be having some target CO attainments. So if our target CO attainments are matching with the actual attainment, so then we say that CO attainment has been achieved. Otherwise, we say that it is not done. Okay, so I think this table is clear to know all. So if our targets are met, then we can improve our system further. If our targets are not met, then we need to do the analysis why our targets are not met, and we need to take the corrective measures. So if targets are met, say over the few consecutive years, we may set higher targets subsequently as part of continuous improvement, or we can change the scale. So like there was a question from one of the participants, can we have more levels of attainments? Yes. So here you can see that we can have this kind of levels also, 5 levels of attainment. But presently, considering 3 level attainment is the most followed this particular, we can say the particular kind of scenario which is there. But if we find that targets are not achieved, then we should not lower the targets. We should put in place an action plan to attain the targets in the subsequent year. So we should analyze that why targets are not achieved. Then we should do the brainstorming, and we should find a particular corrective action which should be taken so that in the subsequent years our targets are achieved. Right. So up to this point, we have covered the CO attainment. So now I'm moving towards the PO attainment. So in PO attainment, we use COPO mapping.